So, now that we have the masks, we need to figure out where exactly we need to use them. So, our next destination is the continent to the southwest, which of course is right here. We can get to that easy enough, right? We shouldn't get lost because it's much bigger than that island was. So, coming up here, I'll point out where we need to go in just a sec. I'll bring up the map, but first I need to get a bit closer to it. This is the continent of Mysidia. And yep, we're getting pretty close, so I'll dock nearby. We have to go to that purple dot, of course. As I mentioned earlier, purple dot means town, and we definitely need to go to the town first. Here we actually have some black flan enemies, which aren't really that tough. I believe these guys are weak to fire, unlike most other flan enemies. These guys do have some good defense, though, so yeah, even Max can't do anything to them. Now, the thing about Mysidian enemies that I didn't mention earlier is that you can actually fight them right at the start of the game. There's a very small bit on the peninsula south of Altair that actually has encounters from this area in the game. Now, the thing is, they'll all probably wipe the floors with you if you fight them earlier on. Now, if you get Warp or Teleport, you probably have a chance to take them on. It's still a small chance, but you never know, you might be able to do that. But yeah, I definitely didn't want to do that earlier on, because, yeah, that just didn't seem like a good idea. But they're easy now, though. Even these cockatrices, which can turn you into stone, of course, they're easy at this point. You can just take them down, no problem. Anyway, this right here is the town we need to go to. This is Mysidia. Very nice town. It's not that long. I mean, to be fair, distance-wise, it's not that far from Altair. And basically these guys will give us hints to where to find the Ultima Tome, which of course is where we need what we need to do. This guy says 3 artifacts protect the Seal of Ultima, but he doesn't actually tell us where they are. Thanks for that guy. This guy actually tells us that Minwu is by here, which is pretty nice. It's good to know that he's apparently been okay. I don't know what he's doing now because he doesn't have these masks and therefore he can't actually find Ultima. Good job there, Hilda, sending him off without any actual proper information. But we do get some good hints, and oh, thank you for not stopping me. I wouldn't have cared anyway. But yeah, this guy will basically give us the whole thing we need to do. We need to find the masks. The previous guy told us where to find the black mask in case we didn't know beforehand. Next off, we're going to need to find the crystal rod, which is in a cave close by. You probably saw it on the map. We'll be going there after this. Anyway, yeah, again, I went to shop here earlier off screen, so I already have stuff, but of course, Thieves and Giant's Gloves I already had beforehand, because they are some pretty good drops. So I already have those, and I bought a Flame Lance, which we've already got an upgrade to the Demon Lance we got in the previous dungeon, so yeah, that other Demon Lance, if you come here before you go to that island, well, that thing's completely worthless. So that's that, and lastly we have the magic shop, which, yeah, pretty big magic shop, right? This magic shop actually has every magic in the game, which is very, very useful. For now, let's use the excuse that, you know, maybe the player isn't going to want to go to all the other towns, they might not remember where the magic is, and it's easier to have all the magic in one place. That's what we'll say for the time being. But yeah, if you missed any magic, you can easily find it here in this shop. But of course, there's also new magic. We have Barrier, Wall, Swap, and Holy. I was wrong earlier, we buy Swap here, but regardless, it's still useless. Holy, on the other hand, is not useless. It's very, very good, and you should buy it. Barrier and Wall are interesting because they're sort of upgrades to previous magic. Wall is definitely an upgrade to Shell, so if you haven't been leveling that, use Wall instead. Barrier should not replace Protect, though, because it's actually a completely different spell. It said it guards from enemy special attacks, and basically what it means is it blocks stuff like, say, bow or something like that, you know. Stuff that doesn't fall under necessarily physical or magic attacks. It protects from those. Anyway, that house may have seemed useless, but that bookshelf will actually give you details on the various terms you can learn throughout the game, but I'm not going to visit it because it's kinda useless, so I'm not going to bother with that, because that would just waste time. This statue here is what we need to come to this town for. Place the white mask on it, and we're good. Is it just me, or does that have Firion's color palette? Also, is it just me, or does it look more like some sort of weird bug than a mask? Oh well, whatever. That's where we had to put the white mask. I believe if you try to use the black mask, nothing will happen. It definitely has to be the white mask. So with that done, we actually had to move on to the next dungeon, which is within these mountain ranges. Is it just me, or does this area kind of remind you of that one area on the world map in Final Fantasy VI? You know, the one with Zozo? Because we have all these mountain ranges, we can only really get in from one side, we gotta sort of trek around, of course. In this game we have a boat to get in there, but yeah, you see, it's within the little mountain ranges. You know, both this next dungeon and Zozo are, well, both dungeons. Of course, then again, this area isn't nearly as interesting as Zozo, which is too bad, but whatever. It's an NES game, or at least a remake of one, so I guess you can't expect too much. But regardless, let's just keep on moving, because we want to get to the dungeon, because this has already been a long enough trek, and trust me, it ain't gonna get any shorter. It's just gonna keep going on and on. So, within these mountain ranges, I believe, is it those mountains? Oh, you have a new enemy. Oh, yep, bombs. Bombs, of course, are your usual upgrades. They are still weak to fire for some reason. Very easy to take care of, especially when there's only one of them. That guy didn't have a chance. But anyway, yeah, I believe, yeah, it's right below, so it should be within these mountain ranges, right? Yep, the cave's right there. So, let's move on to this area. It's kind of another cave area, but it looks kind of a bit more interesting. It looks, well, I can't exactly describe it as ruins. I mean, this area is in pretty good shape, let's be honest. I mean, these are pretty nice looking. They're abandoned, yeah, and I guess the floor could use some work, but overall it's not too bad. Not exactly one of my favorite overall formats, though, to be honest, because it's a lot of thin hallways into myself for some reason. What are you doing here, Second Firion? What are you doing? Out of the way. I don't even know what that has to do with anything. Let's just go put the black mask on this guy. Let's just, I'm gonna put that, there we go, and we'll just do that. Yep, that's what you use the black mask for. And with that, yeah, I believe you have to place the white mask down first, otherwise you can't place the black mask down. It's something like that. I'm pretty sure that's what the last line means. I don't know why it's worded like that, but whatever, let's not worry about that. Point is, we've placed both masks, so we can definitely get to the crystal rod first, but of course we've still got some dungeon to go, because, yeah, it's not just 2 floors of dungeon, it's a bit longer. Flame Lance, yeah, I don't regret buying it early. I mean, I'm not really in need of money, and wow, I already forgot where that passage was. Amazing. Oh, so, for people who've played later Final Fantasy games, you might be freaking out right now, right? Because that's a Malboro, and they're kind of infamous in this series for being really terrible and giving a lot of status effects. Fortunately, in this game, these guys aren't a problem. They're actually really weak enemies. These guys can't even cause status effects, and in fact, they're actually weak to lightning. I tried to use fire because they kind of remind me of plants, so I always try to murder them with fire, but they are weak to electric attacks, so use those. But yeah, Malboros are surprisingly weak in this game. They're really not good until Final Fantasy VII, are they? I mean, they can be kind of annoying in 6, but they really didn't get nasty until that game. So, let's just not worry about that. Let's just keep finding our way through this dungeon. It's a bit maze-like, but it's not the worst. I mean, at least it's not all just thin passages. Yada yada yada. Second Final Fantasy XIII in joke in this entire playthrough. I could make it at any point. There are also a lot of these little hidden passages. I believe these are on the side because it's never from the front, right? You always gotta go through these sides. Yep, there we go. Oh, we already have an ice bow. Basically, this area just gives out free versions of the items you can buy in Mysidia, which I never really was fond of that. I always kind of hate that when it happens in a game, like, oh, I bought a bunch of items in town and it's really expensive and now I'm almost out of money. Oh, if I was patient, I could have bought a bunch here. And we get ambushed by bombs. Not really a problem, because they can't self-destruct until they attack you, so that is pretty helpful. And of course, there are only 2 of them. Dante takes care of one very easily. And he goes down. Not a problem in the slightest. Of course, I can't really use this ogre killer since no one actually uses an axe, and it's kind of too late to really give it to anybody. It would be annoying to do so, because they'd really have to catch up on axe levels. This area is a bit maze-like, not too bad, though. Though, of course, I'm probably always going to be tempted to go the way that'll proceed through the dungeon. I always do that in a game. It's like I'm trying to find items, and then I go the right way and, find the way off the floor. But if there are no items in the dungeon, then I can never find my way to the exit. That's just how it is, unfortunately. Don't know why it is, but it is. I guess I just don't have any good treasure senses most of the time. Oh, we got flying rays. I think we fought these guys. Or maybe it was just a different color of them. This could be a palette swap of, like, sand rays or something like that, but the point is, these guys are really uninteresting. I don't think they have any special abilities. Their stats are bad. You don't have to worry about them, though they're some of the weakest enemies in this dungeon. Certainly not as good as stuff like Flans and stuff like that ghosts. These guys, on the other hand, can be pretty dangerous. As you can see there, they have Scourge. Of course, they can drain with their basic attacks, as they can always do. They also have many. They also have Stun and Curse. Curse, of course, is... Yeah. Well, this doesn't look too good. Alright, let's just do that. Hopefully they don't target Layla despite the fact she was dead at the start of the turn, because wouldn't that just suck? But yeah, these guys definitely have a very annoying assortment of attacks, and they are actually mildly threatening. Okay, I think I can finish this without needing to heal Layla, which is good because this should definitely give her a good boost of HP and stamina. Yeah, well, it wasn't HP, but stamina's good enough for now. So that was kind of annoying. Yeah, ghosts can be pretty tough, so be careful. Really, most undead enemies just keep getting better and better with each palette swap they get, and you should always be wary when you see a new one, because they could wipe the floor with you. And of course, those drain attacks are always annoying. Of course, we are getting some pretty good items here, so there's that. I could use that high potion to heal Layla, but actually, I'm probably just going to use magic. It's usually a better idea to use magic, especially Cure, because Cure actually upgrades well, because you need to use it all the time. And oh gee, okay, this is actually a really good combination of enemies, because if you'll remember, soul enemies absorb the magic, and the Flan enemies are only weak to magic. So it's a pretty good combination, if not for the fact that the soul enemies are very frail by this point. It's a shame, really, because that's actually a really good combination. It would actually sort of, it makes you focus on one thing at a time, Of course, it's better to focus on the souls first, because, if you don't focus on them first, then you have to, single target everything, or... Actually, I guess it's not the worst thing to target everything. I mean, if you don't attack the souls first, then sure they heal, but what are they healing off? But regardless, it's an easy fight either way. I mean, but I still appreciate it. I mean, it's an enemy combination that's not just, oh look, here's a bunch of enemies together, they don't really work all that well. They don't complement each other's abilities, they're just there to attack a bunch of times. No, it's actually sort of interesting compared to other enemy combinations. Unlike this one where, again, it's just a bunch of enemies that attack. I guess Gigantoads are the most dangerous things that you should probably take care of first. I guess. I mean, they can poison you, I'm pretty sure, but other than that, nothing. And of course, Wild Horns and Flying Rays, none of them actually do anything interesting. They just attack you. None of these guys actually do anything special, so just wipe the floor of them any way you see fit. So that's that done. So here we have a Drain Tome, Osmos, and... yes, we got a Crystal Rod. That's a bit of it's a bit different than the other two tomes. But anyway, that's it for the dungeon. Unfortunately, there's no teleporter, so we have to teleport out ourselves. Ah well, it's not too difficult. Just need to remember to heal Lynx after this, because as per usual, she's almost dead. But yeah, we got the crystal rod, meaning we can enter the Tower of Mysidia where the Ultimatome is located. And hopefully we'll encounter Minwu on the way, because I really don't know where he is. But he's got to be somewhere here, I'm guessing. So, the Tower of Mysidia, if you'll see, is to the north. That little yellow square up there on the ring island, yeah, that's the Mysidian Tower. It is actually a bit of a distance to travel to it, because, you can't just go straight north to it. I mean, you can only get to it from one side, so we're going to have to do a bit of sailing to get there, but ocean enemies aren't tough, right? All the ocean enemies, they go down easily, so there's nothing to worry about. We'll just get up to the Mysidian Tower, and then we'll save everything for the next part, so, let's just, I'm gonna use a cottage real quick, because, don't really feel like stopping by an inn. I mean, it's just too much of a distance, really. I guess I could stop by an Altair for a cheap inn visit or something, but cottages aren't really that expensive anyway, and again, money, not even a problem anymore. So yeah, pretty much just sail along here. And I figured I'd just cut over here real quick since, yeah, there's not much... This isn't really a different route. Pretty much we just have to go by Altair, and that's it. We haven't really gone left of Altair before. Well, maybe you have when you're exploring by yourself, but I haven't. So, the Tower of Mysidia is right through here? Of course, there's a whirlpool. With my last breath, I curse Zoidberg!